Karl Whitten, thanks for coming on the show today. Really appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here.
So, a little bit about you. You have been in architectural design for most of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
By a large majority, yeah.
And you've designed over, 10,000 homes?
I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 probably.
That's a pretty big variance there. So let's go with 7.
There were years where I was very prolific.
Yeah.
Certainly through the, late 70s, early 80s. I mean, we were just, we were cranking them out.
Mainly here in Colorado?
Almost exclusively here.
Yeah.
We've done work all over the country, but this is home.
So the out of the country ones, I saw you did something in England, Belize, Central America. What were those? How did you get those projects and why?
It's interesting. You do something for somebody here, and they say, "Hey, we're going to be moving to India." The client that we had out of the UK he was on holiday for a year and thought he'd design himself a house. I'm like, that's a nice holiday.
Yeah. And so you designed him a house.
Right.
All right.
And then the one in Belize we did was for some friends.
And there's probably 8 or 10 other states that your designs are in.
Exactly.
Right?
And they usually come out of people that I know, either former clients or, that say, hey, would you do this for me somewhere else?
Have you had to sign a do not disclose agreement of who you're designing for before?
I don't think I have ever signed one of those.
Oh, yeah? None of those where the contract just has a code on it and you agree to it? No.
Haven't done that one.
All right. So tell me a little bit about why you personally got into architecture.
Yeah, sort of interesting. When I was a kid, I was always around successful architects. The neighbor was a really successful guy. I went to Mexico City when I was in 4th grade for the summer, and I was staying with this uber successful architect. So I was just always around these guys, and so I was like, yeah, this is
what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you graduated high school. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Boulder. My folks moved here when I was 6.
All right.
Ended up, going to school there, building the business there. I finally left. Took me like 55 years or so.
And you left Boulder to Erie now?
Exactly.
Is that what you mean is left?
Yeah, I was chasing my kids and my grandkids.
That's awesome. So what was your first architectural job that you can remember? If you remember that far back.
That was cold. So I went to work for this guy in 78, and I think there were 2 projects that I was working on. One was a really simple ranch house in North Boulder, and the other was it was a garage addition to what's known as the Castle up on 9th Street in Boulder.
All right.
And it was really, really tough. I was way, way out of my depth.
Yeah. Did you pull it off, though?
Barely.
Barely. So that would have been one of your first architectural jobs.
Yeah.
Tell me about how Whitten Design became Whitten Design.
So I ended up, working for the guy that I went to work for in 78. I worked with him until about 95. And then I bought him out and launched Whitten Design.
You have been around Boulder County, and if there's a custom home or a spec home or a high-end subdivision in Boulder County, Whitten Design Group has some impact in that subdivision.
We have been just about everywhere.
Yeah. And so I remember when I worked at the Hudsons back in the day. You had the Hudsons, you had the real estate team, you had Karl Whitten, and I was just a young pup. And I was like, oh, those are all the important people. And you were there with them.
Little did you know.
Yeah. And you've worked in Boulder County with amazing builders, a lot of spec homes, a lot of subdivisions. You work for builders and your own clients.
Absolutely.
So one thing that we've always appreciated as custom home builders is that you are a builder's architect, that you are able to take a client's design ideas, put it into the architectural design, but also give us something that's buildable. That's what we've always appreciated about working with you. So, I mean, even to the very first home that Brian built in '99, you were the architect on that. And through the years, we've had at least over 100 projects that we've worked together on. And so it's been this amazing journey to be able to build the designs that you come up with.
I think that early in my career, most of my clients were builders. They were the guys that were cherry picking the lots in subdivisions sort of all over, northern Denver, Boulder, Longmont. And so they were the ones that were procuring my clients for me.
Yeah.
So, I had some really tough builder clients. That, some of the toughest, I think.
Would you rather deal with a builder client or a consumer client?
I would absolutely rather build or do it with a builder.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, I think I think it's easier to understand the expectations going in, whereas individual clients, you may think you know where you're going, but you find out you really don't know.
Yeah. So, through your journey from '77, is that the year that you started architecture in Boulder County?
78, yeah.
All right, and going up until the present, what are some of the highlights of your career that you're like, man, that was awesome. That was an awesome project. That could have been, the subdivision or something that you're just like, I left a legacy.
Yeah, I think there were a number of things. I mean, we've sort of gone all over the board. I think one of the really early big projects that I was involved with, that would have been sometime in the maybe early 90s, late 80s. We did sort of what became known as the Volcano House in Boulder.
Volcano House.
Yeah, and this, I had a client. He had the wildest ideas of anybody I think I've ever worked for. We did things like, it had a volcano, had this Polynesian paradise. So it had a tiki hut in there. And
Inside?
Inside.
Okay.
30-foot waterfall, kind of this lagoon, the volcano.
Sounds like Casa Bonita.
It's total. Well, we actually went to Casa Bonita to look at the waterfall to figure out how.
Seriously?
Yeah. And he would do things like he'd put the little pinpricks through the ceiling tiles so it looked like stars. And I think Casa Bonita had that, but he had a way that he would switch those off and switch on a different set, and it would say, "Greetings, Earthlings."
No way.
on the ceiling.
Oh, my goodness.
He had a war room. Bombs going off. He had a psychedelic 60s room where you'd spin around
Randy,
on
baby. Shag carpet.
Had a 30-foot fire pole in the entry.
Oh, my goodness.
Elevators. It was. He actually talked about doing he wanted to lift his, I think it was like an '88 Cadillac from the basement into his bedroom. I was like, that is awesome. It's a terrible car. And then we found out how much it was going to cost. He's like, oh, I guess not.
Yeah. So what made it interesting and fun?
I think it was the client. Although by the time I was done, it was so weird. I
took your name off it?
Well, no, I was really quiet about that we had done it.
Uh-huh.
And now I realize I should have been shouting from the rooftops, Michael Jackson would have been my next client.
Yeah. I think we all do those projects, like I think about the geodesic domes at the air park in Erie that my dad did, and you're just like, oh, you guys did that? Yeah. But you're proud in the moment because you're like, my dad built that.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting.
Interesting at my house means.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the years maybe when we first started working with Brian at 4 Mile Creek, there was some good stuff there, and we were doing everybody's work.
Yeah.
And then sort of that led on towards like White Hawk Ranch, where I think we did 38 of those.
Yeah.
Over, I don't know, 7 or 8 years.
That's amazing. And the homes in that subdivision are just high-level luxury, so it's pretty amazing. Some of those clients that have the really interesting ideas that you're like, okay, hey, how do I bring this to life? That's what I believe you do really well, even if it's just a normal idea or something that might be a 30-foot pole or lifting a Cadillac. But I know, like, from my personal experience with you, I had a remodel, and I've been doing this a long time. I wanted to do an addition on my house, and I sketched out like 20, 30 different things over the years as I sat there planning my remodel. And then I was like, all right, Karl, what do you think I should do? And it took you about 15 minutes to show me how I'm an idiot and let the professionals do what they do. And you sketched up this thing, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, yeah, I should stick to building.
That's why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Because I've tried that too, and that's definitely not for me.
Yeah. And then I think about like the interesting things. I mean, we did when we worked together at 4 Mile Creek. We had some pretty interesting projects where we had the concrete first floor was an entire concrete slab, and it was really a car garage with a kitchen, and then the second floor was an office, and the basement was a car garage. We had the car lifts in there.
Exactly.
And it looked like a normal home.
Yeah, that was great fun.
Yeah, those are.
You get those people that are willing to invest in their dream.
Yeah.
And those are the really fun ones.
Yeah. Cool. So at Whitten Design Group, you have some amazing team that works with you. You have Lisa, who actually runs it, your amazing wife, and you got 2 other designers on your staff that have been with you for a long time.
Right.
Tell me about your team.
So, yeah, these guys have been with me for decades.
Yeah.
I think Noah joined the team in 2001. I think Paul joined the team in 92.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
So Paul and Noah, because I know that they know everything about the projects that we work on as well. So if I'm not able to get you, I get them, and they're involved. They know about it. Your team is responsive, personable, and really enjoy working with your entire team. So
and we had staffed up, coming out of the Louisville fire, we staffed up a bit, and then after a year and a half or so, that certainly cooled. So we kind of contracted. Back in 2006, we had gone through a horrible,
the Great Recession.
Yes,
Yeah.
downturn. I thought we were invincible.
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing everybody's work, and it broke my heart to let
Some people go.
3/4 of my team go. But I think what it did was it made the 3 of us a much more cohesive. We think each other's thoughts, and
Yeah.
So
I want to give a shout out to Noah and Paul, because I enjoy working with them, and Lisa as well, for just being so sweet and kind over the years. So that's a lot about you, right? I mean, that's kind of your story, your journey.